Hi guys, Ken here, postcards from Cebu. Okay, so a few tips on getting married in the Philippines, and I'm going to assume that you've already heard the cautionary tales of making sure that you really know this person, that you've spent a lot of time with her, and you really know what you're getting into. There are a lot of guys that don't, and there are a lot of guys that are deceived. I think Personally, I think the percentage, the number is a small number of Filipinos who are out to scam you. I think most Filipinos genuinely want to marry a nice man, and they're particularly attracted to Western men. So having said all that, I'm going to assume that you've already been through the vetting process and you really know what you're doing. And you've been many times to the Philippines, back and forth, spent time with your lady. And so you popped the question and she said yes, and you're going to get married. And so what you're doing is you probably, if you're an American or anywhere in the West, I guess, you're a working guy, you got a limited amount of time, and you want to fly to the Philippines and marry your sweetheart, which is exactly what I did. And maybe even after that, you want to start the immigration process to bring her to your home country. That may be something you're interested in as well. But for this video, I'm just going to focus on the actual wedding. I took 3 weeks, and it took almost all 3 weeks to get it done. So there are some things that you want to be aware of. The first thing you can do is you can save some time with an instrument called a cenomar, C-E-N-O-M-A-R, which comes from the Philippine Statistic Authority. I think it is PSA, or it's a document that says that they researched your name and you have never been married before. Your fiance is gonna need one, and you are too. So fortunately for us, when Vivian went to do some research on the cenomar, she learned that the municipality would also need a cenomar on me. And the statistics office was kind enough to allow me to send a letter to Vivian authorizing her to obtain that document on my behalf. There is a cost involved. I think it's about 300 pesos, something like that. I don't quote me on that. I don't remember, but there is some cost involved in it. But 300 pesos is $6 at today's rates. So what you can do is you can do that in advance. What I did was I typed up the letter, printed it out, signed it, scanned it, and emailed it to Vivian. She was able to print it out and take it to the office and get the cenomar processed in advance of me even leaving the U.S. to get to Cebu. And that's a big time saver, because I think it can take a month or two to get the cenomar in Vivian's hands, and that would not have been enough time. The marriage license process, once you apply for it, you have to wait 10 days before you can actually be wed. So that's 2 weeks, guys. So you have to plan on your trip. As soon as you get there, you're going to want to apply for the marriage license, or for the marriage license, and then you're going to have to wait 2 weeks after that before you can actually get married. The other thing that you're going to need if you're a Westerner, especially if you're only because I'm an American, is a certificate in lieu, an affidavit in lieu of a certificate of no marriage, or some kind of fancy language like that. You have to get that from the U.S. Embassy or the consulate. I got mine from the consulate in Cebu. They have walk-in hours in the morning, so you can get there, walk in, get the document, and get out. It was like the second day I was there, we did that and got that affidavit, because you'll need that when you apply for the marriage license. You'll need that document, and you will need the Cenomar. So you can get the Cenomar in advance by typing up a letter and giving permission for your fiance to get that document on your behalf. But as soon as you land in country, you're going to want to get to the consulate and get the affidavit taken care of. You're going to need that right away, because remember, you got to wait 2 weeks. So after you submit the documents, you got 2 weeks. What I did was I planned on getting all that stuff taken care of ahead of time, and then we spent 2 weeks just hanging out and having fun, and then we had the wedding. You're going to need other like the normal documents that you would need for any wedding. You're going to need a birth certificate, your passport, ID. If you're getting married in a church, now that further complicates it, especially if it's a Catholic church, because the church will have some requirements of seminars you got to attend and things like that. Vivian and I got married by the judge at the courthouse in Minglanilla, so that wasn't an issue for us. But if you're having a big Catholic wedding in the church, then you might want to speak to the father at the church and make sure that you have all that lined up as well, because that could also eat into the amount of time you're going to have. I'm assuming that, like in my case, I had 3 weeks in country, so I got everything done as soon as possible. We submitted the documents, then we waited the 2 weeks, and then we finally had the wedding. So that's kind of how it goes. But you're going to need all the normal documents. Now, to get the affidavit from the consulate or the U.S. Embassy in the Philippines, in Manila, you're going to need to have copies of any divorce papers. Now, these are certified copies, not just random copies. They have to be notarized by the office that issues them. And you want to take all that with you to get the affidavit. They actually didn't care about those documents at the municipality when we applied for the license. They only wanted the affidavit. But the embassy may want to see those documents when you swear the affidavit. Okay. The other thing, keep in mind, I was doing a little research, and the embassy in the Philippines, to get that document, you have to make an appointment. So I would make that appointment well in advance, knowing what your schedule is going to be when you get to the Philippines, so that you can get in and out of there on the first or second day, so you don't start running out of time. No problem in Cebu. It's walk-in. You just get there in the morning. I think it's Monday through Friday, like 8 to 10. You just show up at that time, and you're going to sit there and wait for an hour, but it's not a real long wait. Otherwise, you just need the regular documents. Now, everything else, just like any other wedding, you're going to have to arrange for catering and, where you're going to have your reception and people that are going to be there, but that's all fun stuff, and you don't have to worry about it so much. The main thing is that you get those documents taken care of right away, and I highly recommend that you send a letter to your fiance and have her get the Cenomar on your behalf before you even show up, and that will make life a lot easier, because the Philippines has bureaucracies just like every country, and it can take some time to get those documents processed. So you don't want to be in country, you only got 3 weeks and you got to wait a month before you get a Cenomar. Things are not going to happen. Anyway, guys, so that's some tips for if you're getting married in the Philippines, what to expect, what to look for in terms of documentation and bureaucratic hassles and stuff. That's what to expect. Anyway, guys, like and share this video, please. Click that like button. Share it on your social media. Up there somewhere is going to be my ugly mug. Click on it. Subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you join me. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.